So I have been changing the way I have been programming now for a little while, and I just kind of want to show you the result of it. So if I simply run this command, at some point it's going to crash. And the reason why it's going to crash is actually quite interesting, and it would have been exceptionally difficult to catch this had I not done this style of programming. So, first, what are you seeing running? Well, this is how many connections have been created. This is how many connections have been disconnected. This is the current number of connections. I'm building an auto scaling game server. Now, I have a unique way in which I'm trying to approach this. I'm going to probably change my direction here soon, but nonetheless, this is the route I have currently chosen. So my only server had 186 connections, and boom, the whole program broke after going up and down. And how I've decided to program this is that instead of just using real servers, I'd use local servers as a proxy for the real thing while I kind of really tune the algorithm and understand it the best I can. Then I can create simulations on top of that to where I can run this really, really fast and discover, do I have any missed assumptions? And guess what? I do have a missed assumption. If you look right here, you'll see that it says attempting to disconnect a non-connected client. Now, if we go to client over here, you will see in the spot right here in disconnect. Now, typically how somebody would program this function would be if connection does not equal nil, well, then I will go down and I will close this server. But I'm trying a new way of programming, a way of programming that I ensure that I call functions with not only just the correct intention, but the correct programming beforehand. And so what I do is if there is no connection yet to the game server, meaning that my connection is nil, then I should have never called disconnect in the first place. I'm ensuring that I've done the correct thing through and through instead of this fire and forget style programming. And so this obviously comes from this idea of tiger style programming. And a lot of this comes with asserting and really trying to make sure that my positive space and my negative space of my assertions are really all there. Meaning that I am saying, hey, disconnect can never be called without a successful connection. Now, does it really matter? It probably honestly doesn't really matter in the end that I do that. If there's no connection, hey, there's nothing to disconnect. I just make sure that my state's correct and we just move on. But I wanted something better. I wanted to make sure that my program that I myself have correctly programmed it such that I never call disconnect on a client that has not made a successful connection yet. And that just requires a more intense, precise programming. So what I do is I pepper these asserts throughout my entire program. And you can totally see these asserts all over the place. And I just do so many different ones. And I just ensure that I never accidentally do anything that's just wrong. Like I should never receive from my server a malformed data packet from my server to my other server. If I ever do that, I should crash the entire thing, print out this nice error, exactly what happened, exactly what I was expecting, such that my simulation go, whoa, wait a second, how did I ever even get to this point? How did I ever even produce a packet that wasn't correct? Well, this is how. And so I just really wanted to show you this, that I think assertions and just asserting throughout your code and letting it run in production is an amazing feeling because it almost feels like you're both on a motorcycle without a helmet, like danger at any point, but you're also in the world's safest vehicle because you've just massively hammered it with simulations and not just simply some sort of mocked unit test. It's like, oh, it's safe because my mocks say I'm safe. No, I'm really running the entire program and massively hitting it with my code over and over again, doing fuzz testing, exploring all the different bounds, setting up different server configurations at random, and just letting it run all night, over and over and over, thousands upon thousands, millions upon millions of processes being up and down all night long, just such that I can prove to myself I've created something correctly. It's actually a really cool feeling. And when something crashes, you can save the seed. What was the random seed that led to this crash? That way I can regenerate the exact same server config, I can rerun the exact same test, and I can watch that exact same crash happen again, and boom, I am able to see it happen, reproduce it, and fix the root cause that will only happen once in a million times. It is absolutely amazing. You gotta try it out. You gotta just think about this more. How do you incorporate asserts, simulations, and fuzzes? Because that will just allow you to actually test your program in a very magnificent way that doesn't involve you needing to test in production. Because the only other option truly is testing in production. That's the truest test. Just saying.